everybody, as we welcome you to the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas, site of Merrill Madness, the 2014 Southland Conference Basketball Tournament. And tonight, we give you the first round for the men. And our first game features the 5-seed Colonels of Nicholls against the 8-seed Lions of Southeastern Louisiana. My name is David Salzman. It's a pleasure and privilege to be able to provide not just the call for these games tonight, but the first and second rounds for both the men and the women, which will take you through all the way to Friday afternoon. Both these teams split the season series one game apiece, so the rubber match here for survival, as the winner of this game will meet the 4-seed Northwestern State tomorrow at this very time, while the loser of this contest will see its season end. Let's give you the starting lineups for both squads. And first, for Southeastern Louisiana, they come in with an overall record of 12-17, a Southland Conference mark of 7-11, and again, they're the 8th seed in this tournament. Dre Evans is a 5'9" senior from Dallas and a transfer from Blinn Junior College in Brenham, Texas. He's averaging 9 points a game. That is third on the Lions, and also has 49 threes on the year. Jeffrey Ricard, 6'2" senior from Plaquemine, Louisiana. He averages just over 6 points a game, getting the start for the Lions. Also, Jamichael Hawkins, a 6'4" junior from Jackson, Mississippi, averaging 12.5 points a game. Onochi Ochi is a 6'6" junior from Albany, Georgia. He averages 8.5 points a contest and is one of the team leader in blocks. And finally, Antonio Benton is a 6'7" senior from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, averaging just under 12 points a game and grabbing just over 6 rebounds a contest. Jim Yarborough is the head coach of Southeastern Louisiana. He is in his 9th season, 133 wins as head coach of the Lions. This is part of the Riverbill rivalry. It doesn't take you too long to go from Hammond, Louisiana, where Southeastern is located, to Thibodaux, Louisiana, home for Nicholls. The Colonels, the 5 seed in this tournament, come in with an overall mark of 13-14, a Southland Conference record of 10-8. Dantrell Thomas is a 6'2" senior from Manny, Louisiana, and he scores 16 points a game, getting the start. In addition to Jeremy Smith, 6'3" senior from New Orleans, averaging 14 points a game. That's second on the Colonels. Shane Rillier, 6'2" junior from New Orleans, averaging 6 points a game. TJ Carpenter, 6'4" sophomore from Sibley, Louisiana, third on the team in scoring at 9 a contest. And Liam Thomas, one of 6 players from Australia on the Nicholls roster, a 6'10" true freshman from Sydney, averaging 3 points a game, but he is their team leader in blocks with 28. J.P. Piper has led the Colonels to this tournament again, his 10th season as head coach of Nicholls, 110 wins. Nicholls looking to end a 4-game losing streak in this tournament. Their last victory here was 2009. And despite this rivalry and the teams playing so often, they have never played in postseason play. So this is the first meeting in postseason play between Southeastern and Nicholls. Pat Bowe, Rob Wolf, Mitchell Irvin, our officiating crew, as Ochi gets the tip to Evans. And we're underway at Merrill Madness in 2014. The Southeastern team averaging 70 points a game as the pass inside is knocked out of bounds by Carpenter. Southeastern again averaging 70 points a contest, giving up just over 72 a game. Nicholls team giving up 73 a contest and scoring 68 an outing. These two teams, as mentioned, split the season series, both winning on their home floor. Backdoor feed too long for Evans and stolen away. Nicholls with the ball for the first time on offense. Southeastern will play zone perhaps for the whole 40 minutes. That's been their bread and butter defensively more and more as the season has gone along. Look out for TJ Carpenter wearing number 22 for Nicholls. He has 53 threes on the season. Thomas wearing number 1 with the basketball with 8 to shoot, finding Liam Thomas. That's Liam Thomas from Dantrell Thomas. We have the game's first 2 points. Dre Evans, tremendous player, wearing number 1. Mentioned as 9 points a game, but averaging almost 12 a contest in conference play. They're able to get it inside, but off the mark, Onochi Ochi, and the Colonels with the rebound. Senior leaders on this Nicholls team with Thomas and Smith, providing leadership for their youngsters. There's Carpenter off the mark from 3, and Liam Thomas going over the back of Ricard picks up the foul. Last season, Nicholls here, the 5 seed, but lost to 8th seeded McNeese 62-59. They're the 5 seed yet again. Southeastern Louisiana, the 4 seed last year, beat McNeese after the Cowboys beat Nicholls. But the Lions lost to SFA in the semifinals. Jeremy Smith picking up the foul. That is his first. And so 2 early fouls for the Colonels, as it'll be Ochi going to the line to try to tie things up. Ochi has been impressive against Nicholls this season. In fact, in the Lions' victory over the Colonels on February the 15th, 13 points and 7 boards. It's a 70% free throw shooter. That matches the team average for Southeastern Louisiana. Making 1 of 2 and a 2-1 Nicholls lead here in the early going from Katy. We're just west of Houston, where this tournament has been held for quite a few years now. Against this Southeastern zone, which Jim Yarborough started to add due to injuries to Southeastern's best perimeter defenders. Andrew Guillory being redshirted this year after hurting his wrist, a 6'3" junior. Jeremy Campbell, a 6'4" senior who tore his Achilles earlier this season against Arkansas. That zone can open up the 3-point shot, and Dantrell Thomas from long range putting Nicholls up 5-1. Colonels on their way down the floor again. Dantrell Thomas looking to find Smith, but it's poked out of bounds. I believe that was Michael Hawkins wearing number 5 with a good defense. It's still 30 to shoot for Nicholls. The Nicholls victory over Southeastern, 64-61, back on January the 4th, as they held off a late Southeastern rally. Smith off the mark from 3, Evans the board. Evans great from long range, but he can do that as well. Take it inside, and the tough shot over the 6'10" Thomas. That's Southeastern's first field goal. Second game of the night will feature the 7 seed McNeese and the 6 seed Oral Roberts. Winner of that game will take on Sam Houston State. And the winner of this one will meet the number 4 seed Northwestern State tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Good ball movement and a good screen by Liam Thomas, and that opens up the short jumper by Rillier. Third field goal for the Colonels, and it's a 7-3 score. Colonels are 3 of 5 from the floor. Both bands here representing their respective schools. 18 to shoot, Ricard wearing number 24 with the basketball. They'll call a bump on Dantrell Thomas. And that is his first foul. Thomas complaining to Rob Wolf that he was trying to get out of the way, but the contact drawn. Thomas not said, picking up this foul. It's 3 fouls on the Colonels, none on Southeastern. Devontae Upson is in for Southeastern, as that shot is blocked by Smith, but he'll pick up the foul as well. And so early foul trouble for J.P. Piper's squad, as Jeremy Smith, the second leading scorer on the Colonels, has picked up his second. It'll be Hawkins to the line. And Smith will come out after the first free throw. Mention Upson wearing number 2 for the Lions, 6'9" junior transfer from Amarillo, Texas. He's the Lions' best rebounder, just over 6 a game, and scoring 8 points a contest. Also their best shot blocker. So a great presence off the bench for Jim Yarborough's squad. Luke Doyle is in. He wears number 33 for Nicholls. A 6'5" true freshman from Oviedo, Florida, at 4 points a game. And it'll be Aussie for Aussie. Liam Thomas out, and Sam McBeth replaces him, a 6'7" sophomore from Sydney. He's a leading scorer among the Australian contingent for the Colonels at just under 8 a game. Hawkins, 1 of 2, and a 7-4 Nicholls lead here in the early going. Lions are 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Once again, Southeastern will play their zone. J.P. Piper telling me before the game, while the Colonels, after getting off to a hot start in conference play, finishing with the 5th seed, they should still be proud of their winning record in conference at 10-8. toughest stretch has been on the road. He says they're not a finished product yet and looking to get more comfortable as this game goes along and hoping for a big run here at Merrill Madness. Nicholls will have free throws and an early lead for the Colonels here in Katy. Nicholls 3 of 5 from the floor. Southeastern Louisiana 1 of 2, but 2 of 4 from the Charity Shrine. An early 7-4 lead for the Colonels over the Lions. And these teams' first ever meeting in the Southland Conference Tournament. My name's David Salzman. Proud to be able to bring you the action not just tonight, but through Friday morning. That'll be the second round of the women's tournament. Semifinals for both the men and women will be on ESPN 3. The men Friday night, the women Saturday at noon. Dantrell Thomas at the line. He makes 1 of 2. The foul before our timeout was on Devontae Upson, his first, and the first on the Lions so far tonight. 4 early points for Dantrell Thomas. No substitutions out of the timeout for Nicholls. And on a bad pass, Macbeth the steal. Dantrell Thomas 2 more. The hot start for the Colonels, looking for their first tournament victory since 2009. That's when they were a 2 seed, knocked off Texas State before falling in the semifinals to SFA. Colonels also looking to get their offense going. A season-low 44 points in their loss Saturday at A&M Corpus Christi. Steal by Upson after the rebound by Macbeth. We're 5 minutes in, and the Lions will reset. Antonio Benton. Dangerous pass, finding Upson, and he has 2. Upson key in the Lions' victory Saturday at Lamar. That clinched the 8th and final spot in this tournament. 16 points and 10 boards. He's been playing his best basketball as of late. Carpenter for 3. That's his 54th of the season. And the Colonels can do that against the Southeastern zone. They'll be sitting pretty offensively. So far they are up by 7 in an offensive foul. Macbeth draws the charge on Upson, and that's his second. (13-6), the Nicholls lead. As you see the replay leading to the TJ Carpenter three-pointer. Coming in hitting 32% of his shots from beyond the arc. Now, I believe after the technical, or after the foul was called, a technical foul has been called. That is the case, and that is on Upson. So Upson upset, picking up his second foul, picks up his third after the technical, and so that's why Dantrell Thomas is at the line. So this is a Southeastern team that, due to the injuries I mentioned to the Lions earlier this season, struggling a bit with their depth, and now it gets hurt with Upson. You would think having to sit on the bench for at least the rest of this half with 3 fouls and still 14:21 to go. And Jim Yarborough is going to use a timeout here. He has seen his team get down early to Nicholls, down 14-6. Dantrell Thomas with half of the Colonel points so far. The Southeastern team, again, as I mentioned, that with a win over Lamar Saturday, clinched the 8th and final spot in this tournament. A Southland Conference mark of 7-11. But right now, the Colonels shooting 5 of 7 from the field and 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. This is their biggest lead at 14-6, and the Colonels will have the basketball. Julian Chiera is checked in for Southeastern. He wears number 30, a 6'5 junior transfer from Cordoba, Argentina. He's averaging 6 points a game. Lions, again, will play that 2-3. There's Doyle wearing number 33. The 24 threes on the season. They find Carpenter. He looks for another one. Way off. That shot altered by Benton. Might have even gotten a piece of it. Dantrell Thomas able to take it away. There's 4 to shoot. Won't matter as that pass is off the Colonel. And it'll be Southeastern basketball. Perhaps no surprise, 5 of the 8 Colonel field goal attempts from beyond the arc so far against this zone. Colonels are perfect from inside the arc. Here on the early going, 3 of 3. Lions looking to etch into an 8-point deficit. Dantrell Thomas missed the steal, leads to the open 3 by Hawkins. That's his 51st of the season. Hawkins with 4. Honorable mention, all Southland Conference came in averaging 12 points a game. Macbeth, triple team. They'll find Doyle, but right in his face is Ochi, preventing an open shot. Out of the corner, Macbeth for 3. Hawkins the rebound. On the drive, Hawkins to the rim. 2 more. 6 for Hawkins. And after the timeout by Jim Yarborough, Southeastern has scored the last 5 points to cut the Nicholls lead to 3. See how hard the Colonels try to get the ball inside. Well, they feed Doyle for 3 off the mark, and all of a sudden a 3 will tie this game. Benton gets the rebound. Here's for the tie, Hawkins, 3 more. 9 for the junior. An 8-0 Southeastern run. It's just taken them 2 minutes to get right back, and again, all coming after the timeout by Jim Yarborough and after the technical foul on Devontae Epson. They get it inside this time. Macbeth off the mark. Good hustle to get the ball back, and he draws the foul. This is going to be on Chiera. That's his first. And Southeastern's 4th, matching Nicholls. Both teams substitute. Jadante Fry for the Colonels wears number 14. He's a 6'3 redshirt freshman from Thibodaux, Louisiana, home of Nicholls University. Doyle inside the arc, way off the mark, and now Southeastern can take the lead. Joshua Fillmore's bringing the ball down, wearing number 23, a true freshman from Orlando, Florida. Chiera forcing contact and a foul, and free throws will give the Lions the edge. J.P. Piper did not call timeout during that run, waiting for the media timeout, and he gets it here as the Lions have scored the last 8, and we're tied at 14 here at Merrill Madness. Southeastern getting it done. Hawkins to the rim. Hawkins from the wing. 14-0. last Nicholls point came at the 14:21 mark. That was an Angel Thomas free throw off a technical foul by Devontae Upson. Since then, the Colonels have missed their last 5 shots, and Southeastern has gotten hot from the floor. They now have the lead after the Julia Chiera free throw. 9-0 run, spanning less than 3 minutes. Southeastern's 5 of 7 from the floor. Nicholls 5 of 12. Chiera drains them both. Let's see how the Colonels respond. Liam Thomas and Fry on the floor with Carpenter. Doyle wearing number 5. Amin Torres, sophomore from New Orleans, averaging 5 points a game. Evans on the bench for Southeastern, and of course so is Upson with those 3 fouls. Strong move inside, they get it to the rim this time, and TJ Carpenter has 5. That ends the run, and it ties things up at 16. Fillmore picked up by Torres. Chiera to the rim. Tough shot off the mark. And a foul call down low after the Liam Thomas rebound. They'll be on Forrest Johnson, who wears number 44 for the Lions. 6'8" true freshman. Just his 13th game of the year. But Jim Yarborough having to go deep to his bench in terms of his post players because of Upson in foul trouble. Johnson now comes out, and after the quick breather, Antonio Benton returns. Nicholls has won the Southland Conference tournament twice, but you have to go back to 1998, the last time that happened. That's a foul on the perimeter. That's on Ochi. His first and the Lions' 6th. Colonels 1998 and 1995. Their 2 titles under head coach Ricky Broussard. Some lean years following, but J.P. Piper has this program back to not just respectability, but consistent success now. 3 by Carpenter. That gives him 8, and the Colonels with the lead. There was a long stretch in which Nicholls could not make the top 8 in conference, but now they are a team that has consistently made the trip to Katy. But as mentioned, they have lost their last 4 conference tournament games. You got to go back to 2009, the last time they won. Southeastern won Southland Conference title. It came in 2005 under Billy Kennedy, now the head coach at Texas A&M. Hawkins cut off at the elbow with 14 to shoot. Southeastern resets. Fillmore for the tie. Liam Thomas the board. Three early rebounds for Liam Thomas. Doyle from the wing. Fry tipping it to Liam Thomas, unable to connect. Doyle gets it back, off the glass and in. That was a concern for Jim Yarborough coming in, saying that defensive rebounding has been the Lions' Achilles heel all year. In fact, he says recently the rebounding's been better, but one reason why that defensive rebounding's been a struggle, as Luke Doyle picks up the foul, is because Southeastern plays so much zone. When you play zone, you're not assigned to a man, and therefore you give up more offensive rebound opportunities. Again, that's improved as of late, but on that last possession, the Colonels with multiple opportunities, and they're back up 5. So they've answered the 9-0 Southeastern run with 7 in a row. Dantrell Thomas back on the floor. Jeremy Smith is on the bench for the Colonels with 2 early fouls. Fillmore will go to the line. That's on Rillier, his first. That's 17 fouls now on Nicholls. Winner of this game gets the 4 seed, Northwestern State. That'll be at 5 o'clock tomorrow. The nightcap here tonight features the 7 seed McNeese and the 6 seed Oral Roberts. That free throw, Fillmore's first point. 7 points a game for Fillmore. And another solid player off the bench for the Lions. 84 assists on the season. Ties Trey Evans for the team lead. Let's see if Southeastern can get on a run here as they end the 7-0 Colonel run to cut it to 3. Fry in traffic, lost the ball, a turnover. Fillmore. They'll reset back to Joshua Fillmore, and 17 on the shot clock. Getting the step on Fry, but Liam Thomas coming to help out, and it leads to the traveling call. Good help defense by the 6'10" true freshman in Liam Thomas. That's the 6th Southeastern Louisiana turnover. Mentioned Southeastern giving up offensive boards. They give up about 12 offensive rebounds a game. As there's a turnover as Relia throws it behind Torres. Nicholls gives up 9 offensive rebounds a contest. Perhaps at first glance, the difference of 3 isn't a lot, but if that leads to 3 more shots, make a couple of them, that can make the difference, of course, in a close game. And both these teams have been in their share of close games, especially against each other. Nicholls winning at home by 3 earlier this season. The Lions with a victory in Hammond by 5 back on February the 15th. Torres picks up this foul. That's his first. That's 8 on Nicholls. And Chiera able to draw a crowd and draw contact. It'll be a 1-and-1. Lions 6 of 8 from the line already. Nicholls 2 of 4. Rebounds favor the Colonels 8-5. 4 of those 8 rebounds for Nicholls on the offensive glass. Macbeth and Carpenter check in. Liam Thomas and Fry both out for J.P. Piper's Colonels. Southeastern joined the Southland Conference in the 97-98 season. As mentioned, one conference title. That in 2005, they had to win a road game to do it at Northwestern State. Of course, Northwestern State, the defending Southland Conference champs. The winner of this one will get the Demons tomorrow. 4 in a row by Southeastern. 1-point Colonel lead. Evans is back in wearing number 1 for Southeastern Louisiana. Dantrell Thomas to the rim, strong move after the fake to Macbeth. Just enough space to get to the rim and hit his 3rd field goal. That gives him 9. So far, Dre Evans has not attempted a 3-point shot. In Southland play, he's hit 45% of them. So far, good tight man-to-man on Evans. He gets the backdoor feed, shot off the mark, but he's able to draw the block. That's a great pass from way out high by Ricard. And this foul is on Macbeth. That's his first foul, and Nicholls' 9th. The Lions with free throws when we return. Both these teams played close games in the regular season. So far, more of the same at Merrill Madness in Katy. Southeastern Louisiana, 56% shooting, 5 of 9, but the Colonels have doubled the Lions in field goal attempts. They're 9 of 18 from the floor, 50%. But on the flip side of the free throw line, Nicholls is 2 of 4, and as Dre Evans connects on the first of 2, the Lions are 9 of 11 from the stripe, pending one more. Out of Nicholls' 9 field goals, 7 have come off of assists. They have 4 turnovers. Southeastern Louisiana officially 5 turnovers in the game. Rebounds favor Nicholls 8-5 and 4-0 on the offensive end. Evans now with 4, and the Nicholls lead is 1 at 23-22. So Nicholls with the easy advantage in field goal attempts, Southeastern and free throw attempts, and that's quite similar to when these two teams met last back on February the 15th in Hammond, a 71-66 home win for Southeastern. Southeastern, as Torres misfires from 3. Southeastern had 33 field goal attempts the whole game. They made 17 of them, 52%, as Evans buries the 3, continuing his hot shooting from beyond the arc that he's had in Southland play all year. Macbeth hobbles off the court and will be tended to by the Nicholls training staff. He's walking just a bit gingerly, but continues to walk down the hallway, and now will sit and will get looked at as he comes out after the Evans 3. And so it's another run, a 9-2 Southeastern run after Nicholls scored 7 straight to take a 5-point lead. As Macbeth goes out, Liam Thomas is in, so is Doyle. Carpenter, Riolier, and Dantrell Thomas also for the Colonels. Chiera is back in for Southeastern. Benton, Ricard, Hawkins, and Evans. So we're going to 2-point Southeastern lead. But in that last game, Southeastern was 17 of 33 from the floor, 33 of 43 from the line. Nicholls had 23 more field goal attempts than Southeastern. They were 24 of 56, but they only shot 16 free throws to 43 for the Lions. Dantrell Thomas off the mark, and a foul's going to be on Southeastern. This will be free throws. It's the 17th foul on the Lions. It's on Chiera, and that's his second. So Chiera with 2, and Upson with 3. For Nicholls, Jeremy Smith has 2. He's the only Colonel in foul trouble. Carpenter at the line. It's been the TJ Carpenter, Dantrell Thomas show so far. They have all but 4 of the Colonel points. It's now 9 for Carpenter. Or all but 6, rather, of the Colonel points. Rillier, Liam Thomas, and Luke Doyle 2 apiece. Carpenter now in double figures already. And Dantrell Thomas with 9. Carpenter coming in, the sophomore, 9 points a game. 3rd on Nicholls. Tied up at 25. Evans, nice hesitation move, and then the last burst to get by the 6'10 Liam Thomas. Evans heating up for the Lions. He has their last 7, and he has 9 overall. Lions continue to play their 2-3 zone. Liam Thomas being fronted down low. Makes way for Dantrell Thomas, who's off the mark. He's had a couple of shots from around the rim, but unable to connect. Here come the Lions again. Evans, this time he misses one. Lions now 7 of 12 from the floor. Nicholls 9 of 21. Dantrell Thomas again to the rim, and again off the mark. Ricard will slow it down. Dantrell Thomas now 3 of 7 from the floor. He was hot in the early going. And a foul, that will be on Southeastern. I think they're going to Benton for the foul, and that is the case, his first. Both teams in the bonus, but it'll be Colonel basketball off after the offensive foul. Nicholls in their last game at the half had 11. They only gave up 19. to A&M Corpus Christi, but we're down 8 at the break. They keep going to Dantrell Thomas, who has good looks. That's his 4th straight miss. Ochi comes away with it. Now with numbers, Hawkins. Liam Thomas the board. This is Reilly, the junior. Lions always aware where Dantrell Thomas is on the floor. Carpenter from the corner. 13 for TJ Carpenter. His 3rd 3 gives him 56 on the year. Evans, same move as before, and he makes it again. This time he didn't have Liam Thomas around the rim. But the hesitation leads, as you see the replay, to just enough of a head of steam as he gets by Reilly for the bucket, and he'll go to the line. When we return, the Lions cut the Nicholls lead to 1. Become the Dre Evans show for Southeastern Louisiana. The senior from Dallas with the Lions' last 9 points spanning the last 4 minutes, 30 seconds. His bucket before our timeout, giving Southeastern the lead. And now a 2-point edge for the Lions at 30-28. My name is David Salzman. Happy you're with us for the first of quite a few games here at the Merrill Center in Katy, which will take you all the way through Sunday afternoon, the Women's Championship. This time Carpenter taking it to the rim. Fry the follow, and we're tied up. We have a warning called on Nicholls after the bucket was made. Colonel's preventing Southeastern from making a quick inbounds pass, but just a warning. And then the Lions look to take the lead back. And down low, it's Ochi. The block by Fry. This after Liam Thomas slipped to the floor and almost lost his shoe. Torres to the rim, off the glass and good. His first 2. Punch, counter punch since the beginning. Colonels jumped out to a 14-6 lead. Lions then would score the next 8 to tie things up. And in fact would take a 2-point lead before Nicholls would score 7 straight to lead 21-16. And the Lions would take the lead right back. That time Evans off the mark. Torres the good defense, and here he comes down the floor. The floater. The rebound into the hands of Ricard. Rare transition opportunity. Ricard to the rim and 1. Able to draw contact on Jadante Fry. And to the line he goes to try to give the Lions the lead right back. That's Fry's first foul. We remain tied at 32. Southeastern 10 of 13 from the line. Nicholls 4 of 6. Carpenter remains on 13. Evans the board. Ricard reverse, too short. Jeremy Smith remaining on the bench with 2 fouls. He has only played 4 minutes, the second leading scorer for Nicholls. There'll be a traveling call up top on Torres. 5th turnover on Nicholls. Benton returns for Southeastern. Ricard and Chiera both out, as Fillmore also on the floor. So 2 leading assist men for Southeastern on the floor, I believe for the first time at once, in Evans and Fillmore. Liam Thomas to the bench for Nicholls. Dantrell Thomas on the floor with Doyle, Carpenter, Fry, and Torres. Exciting throughout here in the first of many here at Katy. Hawkins couldn't finish, but the tip on the weak side. They'll give it to Benton. And that's Benton's first 2. Came in averaging 12 a game, second on the Lions. Dantrell Thomas, right after making the catch, able to draw contact, and it'll be free throws. Just a 1-and-1. Fillmore picks up his first foul. Colonel's 4 of 6 from the line today. Thomas 2 of 4. Came in hitting 78% of his free throws, but as a team, the Colonels have struggled 64%. Chiera in for Ochi. 2 Colonels already in double figures just in the first half. 1 point Southeastern lead, and a steal. Dantrell Thomas, the fake on the pass to the rim, and Nicholls with the lead right back. That's his 4th field goal and his first make in a while. Southeastern not hurrying, so no 2 for 1. The foul down low will be 2 free throws. Lions are in the double bonus. And if it's on Dantrell Thomas, that is his 2nd. First, here's the steal by Dantrell Thomas. And interesting as he faked the pass, actually dangerous because Evans looked to draw the charge. However, Dantrell Thomas got the no call. So both Dantrell Thomas and Jeremy Smith with 2 fouls apiece. Now, he'll come out and Liam Thomas in, and that's an interesting move by J.P. Piper because with the shot clock off, Nicholls can take the final shot. So the risk of Dantrell Thomas picking up a 3rd foul obviously minimized, but J.P. Piper not taking a chance. In a punch-counter-punch type game. Can't be too surprised we're tied, as more than likely this is the last possession of the first half. And the 2 leading scorers for Nicholls on the bench. T.J. Carpenter's on the lower part of your screen, near that left wing. Their leading scorer so far. 10 seconds to go. Torres. Moving on, Evans forces it and blocked. The emphatic block by Ochi. 2.8 left. And as you see it again, Ochi showing his jumps and his reach. Carpenter will throw it in. Torres. And we're tied at Merrill Madness after the first half. Southeastern Louisiana with a slow start, the quick comeback. Nicholls with the response. And in these rivals' first meeting ever, at the Southland Conference Tournament. All knotted up through the game's first 20 minutes. Of 32 from the floor, 41%. They're 4 of 13 from beyond the three-point arc, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. Southeastern Louisiana, 10 of 20 shooting, 50%, but they're 12 of 16 from the charity stripe, 75%, and 3 of 6 from beyond the three-point arc. Nicholls out-rebounding Southeastern 17-14, including 7-1 on the offensive glass. But despite those 7 offensive rebounds, Nicholls only has 6 second-chance points. 8 assists, 5 turnovers for the Colonels, 3 assists, 7 turnovers for Southeastern. The Lions, paced by Dre Evans, 12 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Jamichael Hawkins, you saw him in our highlight reel, 9 points on 3 of 5 shooting in the first half. Off the bench, Julian Chiera with 3 points for Antonio Benton, 2 points apiece, Jeffrey Ricard, Devontae Upson, and Joshua Fillmore, and 1 point for Anochi Ochi. By the way, Upson only played 2 minutes in that first half. He's averaging just over 8 points a game and has been red hot as of late. Had 16 in the Lions win to clinch a spot in this tournament. That win coming Saturday at Lamar. But Upson picked up 2 quick fouls and then a technical foul to give him his 3rd personal. And so that's why he only played 2 minutes in the first half. For Nicholls, their second leading scorer, Jeremy Smith, just 5 first-half minutes due to foul trouble, and he was scoreless. But mentioned T.J. Carpenter's 13 points and 12 for Dantrell Thomas. And then 2 points apiece to 5 different Colonels, Liam Thomas, Shane Rillier, Amin Torres, Jadante Fry, and Luke Doyle. If you're just joining us, again, I don't think of a better way to describe the first half than punch, counter punch. Nicholls rolled out to a 14-6 lead just 5.5 minutes in. But then before you knew it, 3 minutes later, Southeastern had the lead. They went on a 10-0 run to go up 16-14. Then the Colonels would respond with a 7-0 run to go up 21-16 before a 9-2 Southeastern Louisiana run. And the Lions led 25-23 at the 6:54 mark. After that, a lot of back and forth, including 5 ties. We've had 6 ties overall. And again, 35-all between Southeastern and Nicholls as we get the second half underway. Following this game, you will be able to see here on the Southland Digital Network both post-game press conferences with Lions head coach Jim Yarborough and Nicholls head coach J.P. Piper. Now, on the bottom of your screen, just above where you see the score, you can see the Twitter address, Countdown, then the number 2, Katie. Countdown to Katie. If you could follow Countdown to Katie throughout the second half, you can ask questions either for me or for perhaps either of the coaches at the end of the press conference. We're happy to pass along your thoughts and even questions if there is time during those press conferences. And then also, not just tonight, but throughout these games that we'll have in the Southland Digital Network, we do hope to talk to a number of head coaches from other teams. We were hoping to talk to Northwestern State head coach Mike McConaughey here because the Demons will play the winner of this game tomorrow at 5. He has not made it to the Merrill Center as of yet. But in our nightcap between Oral Roberts and McNeese State, we'll talk to Sam Houston State head coach Jason Hooten as the Bearcats will meet the winner of ORU and McNeese. So already, if you have any questions for Coach Hooten that you want to pass along to us, just send them through Twitter to Countdown to Katie, and you can also use hashtag SouthlandStrong. Liam Thomas at the line as we're just underway here in the second half. The first free throw off the mark. A foul was called on Ricard. And the Thomas free throw, which gives him 3, now putting Nicholls on top. Hawkins getting to the baseline. Benton, the strong follow. Able to use his size to get it over Dantrell Thomas. Lead change, number 9. Now Southeastern leads 37-36. Benton with 5. Key for Nicholls against this zone. J.P. Piper telling me before the contest, be patient, but also don't be afraid to be aggressive and penetrate inside. Carpenter was off the mark from 3, and it'll be Lion basketball. Jim Yarborough, his keys, defensive rebounding. Mentioned in the first half that the Lions, especially because they will play 40 minutes of zone, they'll give up their share of offensive boards, 12 a game coming in. But also, don't go for ball fakes, especially from players like Dantrell Thomas, because that can lead to his opportunities around the rim. Jeremy Smith has just picked up his 3rd foul. He just played 5 minutes in the first half due to foul trouble, and he picks up his 3rd. The senior from New Orleans averaging 14 points a game scoreless and will remain in the contest. J.P. Piper is not going to his bench. Hawkins missing from the elbow, and there's Smith with the board. Pass too long for Liam Thomas. And also too quick for the 6'10 true freshman. That's the Nicholls turnover. Both teams with 7 turnovers as we play early in the second half from the Merrill Center in Katy, Texas. Winner again will get Northwestern State tomorrow at 5. Benton to the rim and 1. This is Southeastern's biggest lead at 3. Liam Thomas picks up his 2nd foul. And Benton with all 4 of the Lion points this half at the line. Senior from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Now with 7. It's a 73% free throw shooter. Still a 3-point Southeastern lead. Again, their biggest of the night. Southeastern has played a 2-3 all game. Carpenter, 3 threes in the first half. Off the mark from long range. Ochi with the board. Southeastern with the size advantage down low with both Ochi and Benton on the floor. Hawkins. Pass too long inside. That was good defense on the Hawkins try by Jeremy Smith. It was a smart play by Hawkins trying to draw Smith's 4th foul. And he was able to stay in front of Hawkins the whole time and not meet him with the body, and that's the 8th Lion turnover. Colonels can tie with a 3. Nicholls, 38% shooting, 13 to 34 now. They're 4 of 15 from beyond the arc. Seven on the shot clock. Reillier, not even close. Coming in just 7 threes for Reillier, hitting just 26%. Dantrell Thomas, the great leap to tip the pass. He'll get it back from Jeremy Smith into the rim. It falls in a foul. What a play on both ends by Dantrell Thomas. And he can tie the game with a free throw. Here it is again, the tremendous anticipation of the Trey Evans pass. And Evans could not get out of the way of the Thomas drive. We're tied for the 7th time. Thomas now with 15 to pace the Colonels. Trey Evans at one point had 9 straight Southeastern points. He gives it up to Ricard. Evans again. Ochi. Misfiring. That would have been his first field goal. Smith getting to the floor to take the ball away from Benton. Smith still scoreless. Looking for his first points. Liam Thomas off the mark with the tip. Got the ball back. Block. What's the call? A blocking foul. What did Ochi sky in the air to swat that ball away? And oh, was that oh so close to Jeremy Smith's 4th foul. Instead, he'll look for his first points of the contest. Second foul called on Ricard. Smith, a 69% free throw shooter. 14 points a game, 3.5 boards a contest. And his last 6 hitting 61% of his field goal tries. Upson in for OG, so we see Upson for the first time since his technical foul in the first half. 3 fouls in just 2 minutes. Liam Thomas comes out for the Colonels. Five in a row for Nicholls. Michael Hawkins, honorable mention All Southland Conference player, 9 points in the first half. Smith cuts him off. Dantrell Thomas tied on Ricard. Now with 10 on the shot clock. Looking for the crossover, no room at all, and a foul. J.P. Piper can't believe it. And look out, he's actually ahead of the hash mark, and we'll have a few words for Pat Bowe, as J.P. Piper did not feel that the Dantrell Thomas contact should have led to the foul. Instead, Dantrell Thomas has his third. 2 leading scorers for the Colonels with 3 fouls each. From the Merrill Center in Katy, first round of the 2014 Southland Conference Tournament. This is a key moment as that brush of Jeffrey Ricard by Dantrell Thomas led to the whistle and Dantrell Thomas's third foul. He and Jeremy Smith, the Colonels' leading scorers, coming in with 3 fouls apiece, and they're still on the floor. Evans off the mark with a follow. That was Benton, who remains red hot here in the second half. Tied at 41 for her 8th tie, also 10 lead changes in the Hawkins block of the Smith shot. Splitting defenders, throwing it away right into the hands of Jeremy Smith. Here come the Colonels. Smith's first field goal. Nicholls takes the lead back by 2. Backdoor feed, beautifully done, tied again. Ricard with the layup. These two River Bell rivals in their first ever Southland Conference Tournament game. A great affair so far. Carpenter scoreless, 13 in the first half. Jeremy Smith looking to heat up. Got his own shot. Off the mark. Fry the tip, and the bump by Jeremy Smith. Do they call the foul? I believe so, yes. And that is 4 on Smith. J.P. Piper took a chance, keeping his leading scorers on the floor with 3 fouls apiece. And we'll see how long Jeremy Smith is on the bench. And the third foul on D'Angelo Thomas might have been questionable, but that certainly was not. Smith bumped Benton to the floor. So at the 14-11 mark, that's when Smith picks up his 4th foul. And the game tied at 43. Benton throws the ball away into the hands of Rillier. Throws it behind Doyle, out of bounds. Cardinals had numbers 2 initially, a 3-on-2. Now the intensity has really picked up here early in the second half. Just led to some great shots, and also on both ends, some ill-advised passes trying to make plays. Liam Thomas on the floor for Nicholls with Doyle, Fry, D'Angelo Thomas, and Rillier. Here's Dre Evans for the Lions. Hawkins, Benton, Ricard, and Upson for Southeastern. Ricard gets the step on Doyle. Couldn't finish underhand. Another board for Liam Thomas. Here comes D'Angelo Thomas for Nicholls. Doyle got Ricard up in the air for the lead. Still tied at 43. D'Angelo Thomas, the tip into the hands of Ricard. And a traveling call. These teams split in the regular season by a total of 8 points. Cardinals winning by 3 at home on January 4th. Lions winning by 5 at home on February the 15th. After that win over Nicholls, the Lions then lost their last 4, but won at Lamar on Saturday to clinch a spot. Here is the 8th and final seed. Nicholls coming in, winners of 3 of 5 after a 4-game losing streak, all 4 of those losses on the road. At one point, the Colonels were 7-2 in conference. That was after a home sweep of Oral Roberts and Central Arkansas, January 30th and February 1st. Torres on the floor, right into the hands of Upson, a turnover. And still 12:30 left, but one thing obviously to watch is how these younger players, maybe not as used to this type of environment, and obviously with the season on the line, how do they respond possession after possession? That's where experience comes in handy so much. Upson, his first Southland Conference tournament game, the junior transfer. It'll be Ochi. And Liam Thomas saves it to D'Angelo Thomas. There's D'Angelo Thomas used to this, but looking for his first conference tournament win, as is everyone on the Nicholls squad. They have not won in Katy since 2009. Evans, the good hands in the strip. They leave him open. He's been hot since conference play began, but off the mark there. Kickball. 26 on the shot clock. It'll remain there as Nicholls will get the ball back when he returned. The intensity is ratcheted up between these two rivals. as the intensity has really been taken up a notch. Both teams making more mistakes than points. In fact, we've been tied at 43 for 3 minutes, and both teams combining for 5 turnovers. Doyle looking to end the drought and does. Beautiful play drawn out by J.P. Piper out of the timeout. That's Doyle's second field goal in his first 3, and the freshman has 5. Nicholls with the lead back. Colonel's biggest lead has been 8. That was at 14-6 early on. Southeastern's biggest lead 3. To answer off the mark, Fillmore. Dantrell Thomas is on the bench with 3 fouls, and remember, Jeremy Smith is 4. So how did the Colonels do without their 2 leading scorers on the floor? They leave Carpenter open from up top. Doyle the long rebound. To the ring, he has 5 in a row for Nicholls. So far, the Colonels outscoring the Lions 5-0 since Jeremy Smith picked up his 4th foul. And a bump on Chiera. Doyle doesn't like the calls. You can see from just in front of us, saying that he was just trying to get out of the way, but there was a bump, and Doyle picking up foul number 1. 5 team fouls on Nicholls now, 3 on Southeastern, as Benton returns. He's been the hottest offensive player for Southeastern in this second half of play. In fact, in the second half, Benton has 6 of the Lions' 8 points. We were tied at 35 at the break. Upson, Liam Thomas the block. Never gave up ground. Carpenter. After being red hot in the first half, he is scoreless since halftime. TJ Carpenter with 13. Halfway through the second half, winner gets the 4 seed, Northwestern State tomorrow. Again, fans, you can tweet to Countdown to Katie. Any questions for me or both respective head coaches? You'll see their press conferences afterwards. And we could ask them a question, which you can hear right here. That's Countdown, the number 2, Katie. You see it on the bottom of your screen. Torres picks up the foul, his second. Next foul puts the Lions in the bonus. Now Dantrell Thomas returns for Nicholls. Also Rillier, Liam Thomas out, and Carpenter out. The Lions roster on the floor: Evans, Upson, Benton, Chiera, and Fillmore. Nice inbounds pass, but just off the mark was Benton. That went in and out. Lions have not scored in almost 5 minutes. Dantrell Thomas saw the bigger Upson in front of him, backs it out to Torres. 8 in a row for Nicholls. I mean, Torres just 29% from beyond the arc coming in. And all of a sudden, in what was a back and forth affair, the Colonels have matched their biggest lead. Southeastern calls timeout. Colonels by 8. So who would have thought after Jeremy Smith went off the floor with his 4th foul at the 14-11 mark, that it would be Nicholls on the run since. They've outscored the Lions 8-0 since that time. In fact, you have to go all the way back to the 14:43 mark, a Jeffrey Ricard layup, which tied things up at 43. That's their last point. They try to break the trend, and they do emphatically. Upson with the dunk. Into the line for one more, perhaps, to cut the Colonel lead to 5. He has been quiet today, and as mentioned, missed most of the first half in foul trouble. With a beautiful feed down low as he was able to get position on Fry. Doyle picking up the foul, his second. A 6-point game. Dantrell Thomas on the floor. Jeremy Smith, of course, still on the bench with those 4 fouls. Southeastern's played their 2-3 all night. Fry. The rebound to Fillmore. They haven't tried a lot of threes, but Southeastern's very good from beyond the arc, 37%. Chiera's going to try one from the corner. Here comes Rillier for Nicholls. Nicholls has not won here since 2009. Southeastern last season, losing in the semifinals to the top seed SFA. Doyle open from just inside the arc. Strong rebound, Benton. He's had a strong second half. This is Chiera. Not a Fillmore, the true freshman. It's Torres guarding Dre Evans, who has been very quiet this second half. On the other end, Fillmore. From the free throw line, Benton. Upson, the strong board, he'll go to the line. That's where Southeastern has the edge, and especially with Liam Thomas on the bench, the size advantage easily to Southeastern. As Upson fouled by Doyle. And to the line when we return to try to cut the Nicholls lead to 4. Southeastern Louisiana, 5 of 17 from the floor this half, 29%. And that make from the line by Upson, their first of the half. They're 1 of 3 from the line this half after being 12 of 16 from the charity strike in the first half. Lion head coach Jim Yarborough says it's been a frustrating season in a way, as a lot of these guys hadn't played together until this year. Barely together for about 9 months, and he says it's been a process since preseason practice began, and even they continue to learn how to play better on the floor together through the beginning of March and up to now. If Southeastern's to make a comeback, who might step up for them? Dre Evans and Jermichael Hawkins are scoreless for the Lions here in the second half. They just trail by 5. Still 5 as Torres is off the mark from 3. Nicholls this half shooting 5 of 17, but they're 4 of 5 from the line. 16-11 the Colonel edge in the second half after we were tied at the break. Antonio Benton with 6 of the Lions' points since halftime. Evans challenges. Liam Thomas got a tip. 8 to shoot. Fillmore with the basketball. Huge shot, Joshua Fillmore. The true freshman, what a time for his first field goal. And now back to a game of runs. 6 in a row by the Lions after the Colonel scored 8 straight. And Jeremy Smith will return at the next whistle. Can they get it to Dantrell Thomas? Tough to do against the zone, and with the Lions' size down low. 7 to shoot. Torres lost control, and a foul call. Jim Yarborough disagrees, but it will lead to 2 free throws. Second foul called on Fillmore. Just the 4th call this half on Southeastern. To 18 fouls on Nicholls. And the sophomore from New Orleans, Amin Torres, at the line. 73% this season. Had a big 3 for Nicholls' last points a couple of minutes ago. And of course, in a game like this, how key free throws are. That edge could go to the Lions as a team. 70% is Southeastern from the stripe coming in. Nicholls 64%. The only main scorer for Nicholls, who shoots better than 70% from the line, is Dantrell Thomas. Torres, as mentioned, 73%, but 5 points a game coming in. He now has 6 after making 1 of 2. Jeremy Smith on the floor for Nicholls with 4 fouls. Do they go right after him? A game which has seen 9 ties and 10 lead changes. Benton moving on Dantrell Thomas. Strong move to the hole. 1-point game. It was the Dre Evans, Jermichael Hawkins show in the first half, but how about Antonio Benton? 8 of his 11 coming in the second half. Dantrell Thomas unable to break the Colonel's field goal drought, and a foul down low on the board. That's going to be on Southeastern. He'll be on Ricard, his 3rd. It'll be Colonel basketball. That's their 15th foul, Southeastern's. Last field goal for Nicholls at the 9:23 mark. That breaks the drought. Dantrell Thomas. 18 for the senior. He doesn't want this to be his last game as a Colonel. Dre Evans remains scoreless this half. Upson. Unable to finish down low. Ricard in traffic. Liam Thomas with it and tied up by Ricard. Jump ball called, and it'll be Southeastern ball. Well, Liam Thomas was fortunate as they were tussling for the basketball. It was actually thrown a bit, but I don't think you can see it on your screen, but just behind the stanchion, there's a man sitting in a chair who actually caught Thomas and is having a good laugh about it. New shot clock Lions. Down 4 to the rivals from Thibodaux. And an offensive foul that'll get Dre Evans for pushing off. That's his 2nd and Southeastern 6th. Colonels will play great defense on him all second half. And you see Rillier didn't give up a step to Evans on the drive. The winner gets the 4th seed Northwestern State in the second round tomorrow at 5. Good pass, Thomas to Thomas. Liam Thomas. His first field goal of the half. Dantrell Thomas the assist. Southeastern timeout. Jim Yarborough upset with Mitchell Irvin, probably about the foul call on Dre Evans before, and he has to be separated as he talks to his Lion players. There's the layup by Liam Thomas. He has 5 points and 8 boards. And so how about Nicholls not letting Jeremy Smith be on the bench affect them adversely? As since we were tied at 43, the Colonels outscoring the Lions 14-8. Nicholls also doing this without the services of Sam Macbeth in the second half. You're just joining us. Macbeth left the floor limping in the first half. Jim Yarborough continues to be heated at the Southeastern bench, and he's picked up a technical. What a key moment with 4:17 remaining and your team down 6. Jim Yarborough could not cool himself down, and you have to assume Mitchell Irvin did give him a warning to cool off before he finally teed him up. And so that means Dantrell Thomas is at the line to try to extend the Nicholls lead. Two free throws here. This free throw will tie the Colonels' biggest lead at 8 and just 4:17 left. Thomas making 1 of 2. What a moment again at the 4:17 mark. Jim Yarborough still has a few more words for Mitchell Irvin before this possession. First Carpenter replaces Torres. 7-point Nicholls lead. We were tied at 35 at intermission. Who can step it up offensively for Southeastern? They one-ups him, but Liam Thomas fronts him. Dre Evans still scoreless this half. What can he create? Ricard. Great effort, Ricard, saving it. Dantrell Thomas the dive. Somehow it gets into the hands of Dantrell Thomas, and he's fouled. The entire Nicholls bench on its feet, and for good reason. That could have gone to either team, and when we return, the Colonels can take their biggest lead of the night, looking to win here in Katy for the first time in 5 years. Salzman from the Merrill Center and Katy. Here's a look again at the tremendous hustle from Dantrell Thomas. First, the great hustle by Jeffrey Ricard to save the ball from going out of bounds. Dantrell Thomas with the tip. Fillmore could not control, and somehow that ball at the very end got into the hands of Dantrell Thomas, and he was fouled by Fillmore going to the rim. And so Thomas hitting the first free throw to give him 20, and now 21 for the senior from Manny, Louisiana. And for all the punch, counterpunch we've seen here today, this is Nicholls' biggest lead, and the Lions have under 4 minutes to attempt a comeback. the 8th seed from Hammond, Louisiana. Big three here, but off the mark by Fillmore. Southeastern will continue to play their 2-3 zone, and the Colonels, much like they've done most of the night, here will be happy taking some time off the floor. Now Southeastern extends the zone a bit, looking to trap, or at least force a turnover. You see how high Ricard is, going for the steal, but now 9 to shoot. Nicholls can get this under the 3-minute mark. Jeremy Smith, just 1 field goal today, taking Ricard down low. Shot swatted away by Upson. If anything, they got 35 seconds off the clock, but still a 9-point Nicholls lead. Hawkins scoreless this half, a long 3. Liam Thomas, the good box out for the board. Boy, what an understated performance by Liam Thomas, really the Colonel's only big man, the 6'10 true freshman. Now has 10 boards to go along with 5 points and 2 blocks. Once again, the Colonels will take the clock down. With 5 to shoot, Carpenter. Liam Thomas saves, but into the hands of Hawkins. But now down to just about the 2-minute mark here in Katy. Last Lion points came at the 5:33 mark, and they can't get 2 there. A tremendous defensive play around the rim. An Antonio Benton layup at that 5:33 mark made it 52-51. Almost 4 minutes later, an 8-0 Colonel run. Dantrell Thomas, now to Carpenter. Reillier. And as he passed off, he was tripped in a foul call with 8 on the shot clock. It'll mean a 1-1. Both teams are in the bonus. 4th foul on Fillmore. Don't forget, fans, on this feed, you'll be able to see the post-game press conferences for both Lions head coach Jim Yarborough and Colonel head coach J.P. Piper, and you have time to tweet us at Countdown to Katy if you have any questions for them. They couldn't make the cut. We can pass them along, and you can hear it right on this feed. Big miss on the front end. Open 3. Ricard, his first 3 of the night, makes it a 2-possession game, and a steal. Ricard coming from behind Smith. Into the rim, 5 in a row for the senior. All of a sudden, the Lions have life as Southeastern calls timeout after the bucket. The 3 by Ricard, the steal, and then the layup. And the Lions right back in this, a 4-point game with 1:12 remaining. For Ricard, he now has 9. As it's really only been him and Antonio Benton to do the bulk of the scoring load this half. First the big 3, and then the presence of mind Smith never expected. That poke from behind. And then knowing Smith had 4 fouls, Ricard took him right to the rim. And for the Colonels to break a 4-game tournament losing streak, they might just have to sweat it out. First, Southeastern shows pressure. Reillier, the junior. Here comes Dantrell Thomas. Will he take it to the rim? He does. And with the left hand, a pretty finish. 23 for Dantrell Thomas. Still a 2-possession game, but under a minute to go. Ricard draws contact. Shot doesn't count. It'll be a 1-1. And it's Smith picking up his 5th. Jeremy Smith coming in averaging 14 a game, leaves with just 4 points tonight. And it's Ricard, the senior from Plaquemine, Louisiana. McLennan Community College transfer from Waco. At the line to try to make it a 4-point game. Fry replaces Smith. Big Macon, he'll have one more. Averaging 6 a game coming in. Now in double figures. Lead back down to 4. A game which has seen 10 lead changes. Can Southeastern somehow make it 11, or at least make us tied for the 10th time? They need help. And Relia is fouled. Now, I'll mention again, this is where the Colonels struggle from the line as a team. And Relia, especially at 46%, will go to the line, but he'll have 2 free throws, as that is the 10th Southeastern foul of the half. Huge make and one more coming. It'll be a 2-possession game regardless. But time running out for Southeastern with 50 seconds left. Dantrell Thomas is a 78% free throw shooter. Colonels would love him to have the ball if Southeastern fails. And that's a late whistle, but a good one. Liam Thomas is going to be called for going over the back. And that's a huge foul call because it stops the clock with 48.6. Well, they'll actually get Jadante Fry for the foul. I thought that was going to be on Thomas going over the back of 2 Lions. But Fry picks up his 4th. But the situation remains, the clock is stopped with 48.6. And both teams in the double bonus now. And so it's Benton at the line for 2, and he's a 73% shooter. And if he makes this one, it makes it a 1-possession game. And with 48.6 left, Southeastern won't have to foul. They could hope for the defensive stop, and then a chance to tie before we end regulation. Huge miss. Liam Thomas the rebound. Now to Southeastern foul. Here comes Dantrell Thomas to Fry to the rim. A dunk! The lead 6. Lions need points in a hurry. Ricard off the mark. Lions not fouling yet. Now they do when they foul the Colonels' best free throw shooter. How it might have been. Remember the second missed free throw by Benton. If he would have made it, it would have been a 3-point game. But after the miss, it was still 4. And then tough for Southeastern to get organized defensively. It led to the break. Perhaps in hindsight, Jim Yarborough wishes they would have at least fouled to stop the clock. But it led to the quick 2 by Fry. And now the Thomas free throw gives him 24 and a 3-possession game with under 30 seconds left. Nicholls possibly 28 seconds away from their first conference tournament win in 5 years. Evans way off the mark. Dantrell Thomas takes it ahead to Relia, and the Colonels are going to advance to set up a battle of the NSUs tomorrow. The 3 by Evans, his first points of the half. Dantrell Thomas lost the ball. A Chiera 3 off the mark. Ochi the layup, but that just makes it a 5-point game with 5.2 seconds remaining. So many times in games like these, regardless of the depth of a team, it's your big-time scorers that have to come through. And how about Dantrell Thomas, the senior from Manny, Louisiana, with 25 points for the Colonels. And he's been consistent, 13 of those 25 this half and 12 in the first half. And that's what makes a team like Nicholls, despite only 2 players in double figures coming in, dangerous. When you have a player like Dantrell Thomas who can go off as he has today, even if you only get 4 points from Jeremy Smith, you play good enough defense, you still have a shot. And what can be said also about the play of Liam Thomas, the 6'10 true freshman, with 12 rebounds today to pace Nicholls. By the way, Thomas, in addition to those 25 points, 6 assists, 4 boards, and 3 steals. He's 7 of 12 from the floor. And although TJ Carpenter has been quiet this half, a huge 13 points in the first half for the sophomore. that led Nicholls in a game which was tied at the break. Last Colonel victory here, 2009, as a 2 seed. They knocked off Texas State. Now looking to win the River Bell rivalry on the basketball floor. Dantrell Thomas's jersey was held even before the inbounds pass. Ricard, what an effort from him these last few minutes. He picks up his 4th. But it will obviously take a miracle for the Lions to pull off a comeback now, down 5 and 4.6 seconds left. Again, fans, tweet to Countdown to Katy. That's Countdown the number 2 Katy. Any questions you might have for both head coaches, if it makes the cut, they'll be asked to either J.P. Piper or Jim Yarborough. And you can catch those post-game press conferences here on this feed. When we're done, I'll give you final stats, and there may be just a brief pause, if you will, between that and the post-game press conference. But don't go anywhere. You can catch both J.P. Piper and Jim Yarborough right here, as Dantrell Thomas seals the deal for the Colonels. Nicholls, their season to continue. The 5 seed moves on at Merrill Madness. It'll be the Colonels and Demons tomorrow, tipping off at 5. For the right to play, Stephen F. Austin, the 1 seed who just completed an historic 18-0 regular season run in the Southland. But the moment here on the floor belongs to the Colonels, as Nicholls defeats Southeastern 71-64, the 8th-seeded Lions in their season 12-18. Final stats to come from Katy right after this.